Welcome back to the deep dive today. Um, we're diving into something pretty big. Donald Trump's second inaugural address.
Oh, yeah.
I,
This one's, it's really making waves.
it is. I mean, not just what it says,
Yeah.
but the whole situation, second term. But not consecutively. That's a first.
Absolutely unprecedented in American history.
I've got an expert here to help us unpack it all. And let me tell you, it's wild.
You can say that again. It's a roller coaster.
Oh, it is.
Ambition, anxieties, and some pretty slick rhetoric.
Yeah, let's talk about that for a sec. The tone.
Okay.
Trump's framing this term as a comeback. Finishing the job.
Mm.
Leading America to a golden age. It's a pretty big shift from American carnage back in 2017.
That's huge contrast.
Yeah.
Almost like he's drawing a line
Yeah.
saying, that was then, this is now.
Okay.
National pride, global respect.
Right.
That definitely hits home for some folks.
It does, but then
Yeah.
he throws in this whole list of crises, government failures,
Yeah.
crime, illegal immigration, healthcare's a mess.
Well, it's like hope and anxiety all at once.
Exactly.
Very clever.
Yeah.
He's weaving this narrative, acknowledging the anxieties, but offering himself as the answer.
And he gets specific, too. Doesn't just say crime.
Right.
He brings up things like the hurricane recovery in North Carolina, the fires in Los Angeles, painting this picture of incompetence and neglect.
Adding fuel to the fire.
Yes. And then it goes even further. He starts pointing fingers. The radical and corrupt establishment,
Oh.
criminal aliens,
Yeah.
fake news media.
Classic us versus them. It's
Yeah.
straight out of the populist playbook.
It's effective, though.
Oh, incredibly. Taps right into existing fears and grievances.
And it's not just talk. He's laying out some serious policy moves.
Okay.
Executive orders,
Yeah.
national emergencies, even talking about designating cartels as terrorist organizations.
Wow.
It feels like he's ready to use power in a way we haven't really seen before.
He's not wasting any time, that's for sure.
Let's break some of this down.
Yeah.
Starting with the national emergencies. At the border and for energy.
Okay, so for folks who might not know, declaring a national emergency lets the president bypass Congress. They can allocate funds and resources however they see fit.
So it sidesteps the checks and balances.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It's not totally unheard of,
Right.
but the way Trump's using it, it's definitely raising some eyebrows.
Yeah, I can see why.
Gives him a ton of power to act alone.
Which I imagine his supporters love, but his critics, not so much.
You got it. And it sets a precedent, too.
Oh, yeah.
Future presidents might try to use it even more broadly.
Okay, then there's the cartels, designating them as terrorist organizations. That sounds like a huge escalation.
It is.
What are the implications there?
For one, it could mean U.S. military action against them,
Wow.
even on foreign soil.
So this could cause some international pushback.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Especially from the countries where these cartels operate.
Right.
It also raises the question of mission creep. What starts as targeting cartels could easily turn into a bigger military intervention.
That's a good point. And it all ties back to America first, doesn't it?
Yep.
This idea that America needs to protect its own interests,
Yeah.
even if it means going it alone, or causing some friction on the world stage.
America first is the core of this whole speech.
It really is.
It's not just about foreign policy either.
Right.
It's about putting American workers and businesses first.
Right.
Even if it shakes up trade deals or means pulling out of international organizations.
Like with the Green New Deal and those trade deals he mentioned.
Yeah.
It's a very protectionist approach.
It is.
Putting America's needs ahead of global cooperation.
Yep.
And he's not stopping at economics. He touches on social issues too. Education. Even bringing back unvaccinated service members.
It's a sweeping agenda.
It really is.
Touches almost every part of American life.
Like that new Department of Government Efficiency.
Right.
Streamlining bureaucracy.
Yeah.
Reducing waste.
Appeals to folks frustrated with government inefficiency.
For sure.
Yeah.
But it also makes you wonder about cuts to essential services.
Yeah, that's a valid concern.
It's a lot to take in. And what strikes me is how he blends these big pronouncements with really specific emotional details.
He's speaking on multiple levels. He's
Yeah.
a master of rhetoric.
He is.
It's powerful stuff. He's tapping into our aspirations and our fears.
Okay, now, this one really caught my attention. The Gulf of Mexico.
Oh, yeah.
Renaming it to the Gulf of America.
That raised a few eyebrows.
It did.
Yeah.
On the surface, it seems almost absurd, like a joke headline or something.
Great.
But I feel like there's more to it.
Oh, absolutely. On the surface, it's a small thing, But it's actually a brilliant move.
Go on.
It taps into this deep desire for American dominance, this idea of reclaiming our place on the world stage.
So it's not really about the Gulf itself.
No.
It's about sending a message.
Exactly. A symbolic gesture.
Okay.
Speaking volumes about Trump's vision for America.
He's not content with just being a world leader.
Nope.
He wants America to be the world leader.
You got it.
And it plays right into that Make America Great Again sentiment.
It's the next evolution of that theme.
Huh.
It's not just about restoring past glory anymore.
Okay.
It's about shaping the future, reclaiming what he believes is rightfully America's.
And that's where things get really interesting.
Oh, yeah.
This is where it gets really interesting, folks. We'll be back in a moment to continue our deep dive into the final part of this already historic speech.
And we're back. Still diving deep into President Trump's second inaugural address. We've talked about his ambition, that blend of fear and hope, and of course the whole America First thing. But there's another layer here. His focus on American dominance and how he plans to achieve it.
That's what really stuck with me in this part of the speech. It's not just about being a strong leader. It's this whole vision of America as a global powerhouse, shaping the world in its image.
Exactly. It's building on that idea of reclaiming lost greatness, but taking it even further.
Right.
He's laying out concrete actions, things that demonstrate this dominance, and one of the most striking examples is the proposal to reclaim the Panama Canal.
Whoa, yeah, that was a big one. I mean, the Panama Canal is international. It's not something you just reclaim.
Right.
So what are the implications of something like that?
Huge, both legally and diplomatically.
Okay.
The Panama Canal is governed by treaties.
Right.
Treaties the U.S. signed decades ago. To just ignore those agreements, that'd be a major breach of international law.
So this could cause a global backlash.
Absolutely.
It's not just about asserting American power, then. It's potentially upending the whole world order.
You got it. Trump's signaling he's willing to challenge the status quo, even if it means breaking the rules. This raises a lot of questions. How will other countries react?
Right.
Will they see it as strength or aggression? Will it lead to more cooperation or more conflict?
Yeah.
It's a risky move.
It is. And it's not just the Panama Canal. He talked about energy independence, too.
Oh, yeah.
Never again relying on foreign oil. Ending reliance on China for manufacturing. Bringing those jobs back to America.
It's all part of that vision.
Right.
Self-sufficiency. Dominance.
It's appealing to a lot of people.
Oh, yeah. Those who feel like America's been taken advantage of.
Right.
Those who want to see us stand on our own 2 feet.
But it also raises concerns about isolationism.
Yeah.
If America retreats from the world, who fills the void?
Exactly.
What happens to global stability?
These are the big questions.
They are.
And that's the paradox of Trump's message.
Well,
He's appealing to unity and division at the same time. On one hand, he's calling for Americans to come together, put aside their differences, work towards a common goal.
right.
But then he's also creating these divisions, this us versus them mentality.
We talked about that earlier.
Right.
Pointing fingers at the establishment, the fake news media, anyone who disagrees with him.
It's worked for him before.
It has. But how long can that last?
That's the question.
Yeah.
It rallies his base,
Sure.
but it also risks further dividing the country, creating distrust and animosity.
It's a tough balance.
It is.
And it makes you wonder about his ability to govern effectively, especially in a democracy, where debate and dissent are supposed to be valued.
It's a tightrope he's walking.
It is.
It's fascinating to watch.
It really is. On one hand, he's charismatic, persuasive. He paints this compelling vision of the future. On the other hand, he's polarizing, a provocateur. He thrives on conflict and controversy.
It's what makes this speech so interesting. It's not just about policy. It's a reflection of the divisions in America.
Right.
A mirror to our hopes and fears.
Our aspirations and anxiety.
Exactly. And it leaves us with more questions than answers.
That's a lot to process. And we're not done yet. We'll be back in a moment to continue our deep dive into the final part of this already historic speech. Okay, we're back for the final part of our deep dive into Trump's second inaugural address. We've covered a lot of ground, this vision of dominant America, his willingness to shake things up, and that constant tension between unity and division.
Yeah.
As we wrap up, what really stood out to you? What are the key takeaways for our listeners?
You know, what strikes me is how this speech is about the future, but it's so rooted in the past. It's like he's invoking this. nostalgic vision of American exceptionalism, going back to when America was the undisputed leader,
Right.
tapping into this longing for a return to greatness, a time when things felt simpler, more certain.
And he's not just appealing to that nostalgia, he's offering concrete actions.
Right.
The Panama Canal, energy independence, bringing back manufacturing jobs. It's all about restoring that perceived lost dominance.
And it resonates with a certain segment of the population.
For sure.
Those who feel left behind by globalization, those who see America's global influence fading. They yearn for that strength, that certainty.
But it also raises some red flags about where America's headed. Will this inward focus lead to isolationism? Will this emphasis on dominance alienate our allies and embolden our adversaries?
Those are the big questions.
They are.
And only time will tell.
But one thing's for sure. This speech has set the stage for a potentially turbulent time.
We're at a crossroads. And the choices we make now, they'll have a huge impact on our nation and the world.
So what should our listeners be watching for? What are the signs that'll tell us which way America's going?
Well, keep an eye on how other countries react to this America First agenda.
Okay.
Will we see more cooperation or more tension?
Right.
Also, watch how Congress responds to Trump trying to bypass them. Will they push back against that executive power, or will they cave?
And what about the American people? How will they respond to this vision of a dominant America?
Exactly. Will it bring us together or drive us further apart?
These are crucial questions.
Oh, yeah.
They'll shape American politics for years to come. And it's a reminder, democracy isn't a spectator sport.
Nope.
We all have a role to play in shaping the future we want.
Couldn't agree more. This speech is a call to action, a challenge to get involved in these big debates.
Yeah.
And to hold our leaders accountable.
To make our voices heard.
Exactly. Whether you agree with Trump's vision or not, it's crucial to stay informed, participate in the process.
Well, this has been a fascinating deep dive into a pivotal moment in American history. We've seen how Trump uses rhetoric to appeal to our hopes and fears. We've analyzed his proposals, their potential impact, and the challenges they face. But the future is still unwritten.
It is.
It's shaped by the choices we make.
Every single one.
Thank you for joining us on this deep dive. We hope it sparked your curiosity and encouraged you to engage in these important conversations, the ones that will shape the future of our nation. Keep questioning, keep exploring, and keep the conversation going.